Ethan Cole pushed open the warped front door of his mother's old house, the hinges screaming like a warning. Rex, his loyal German shepherd, surged past him, hackles raised, sniffed the dust-choked air with frantic urgency. Ethan froze in the threshold, heart pounding from the drive back from the city, back from the woman who had shattered him just weeks ago. The house loomed silent, shadows clinging to faded wallpaper, every corner whispering memories he wasn't ready to face. Rex darted straight for the living room, paws scrabbling against the floorboards. A low, insistent whine escaped the dog, then a sharp bark that echoed off the walls. Ethan followed, boots heavy on the creaking planks, his seal-honed instincts kicking in despite the ache in his chest. "Easy, boy," he muttered. But Rex ignored him, nose jammed into a loose board near the fireplace. The dog's tail whipped wildly, digging now, nails clawing wood. What was under there? Ethan knelt, pulse racing. The board lifted with a splintering crack, revealing a hidden compartment coated in decades of grime. Rex nosed deeper, pulling out a weathered metal box with his teeth, dropping it at Ethan's feet. The latch was rusted, but it gave way under his jaws. Inside, yellowed envelopes, a stack of photographs, and a small leather journal tied with twine. If you're gripped by this story already, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with a friend, and drop a comment below. Where are you watching from today? Let's build this community together. Ethan's breath caught as he untied the journal first. His mother's handwriting filled the pages, precise and familiar. Dates spanned years, back to his early deployments. Today, Ethan called from overseas. His voice was steady, but I heard the weight. He's carrying the world alone. Entry after entry chronicled his absences, her quiet vigils by the window, the packages she'd send with his favorite jerky, and letters that masked her own loneliness. He flipped to a photo, him at age 10, grinning beside his mother at a county fair, her arm around his shoulders. Tucked behind it, another, him in uniform, just before his first SEAL training, her eyes proud, yet shadowed. But the envelopes, they were addressed to him, unsealed, as if she'd written them, but never mailed. He slit one open. "My dearest Ethan," it began. "If you're reading this, I've gone ahead without saying goodbye properly. You left as a boy and returned a man forged in fire, but you've forgotten how to let the armor down. That girl you mentioned last leave, she sees the real you. Hold on to her. And remember, this house holds more than dust. There's a piece of your father here too, hidden where Rex might see it." Rex whined again, pawing at the box. Ethan dug deeper, jaws brushing something cold, a silver locket engraved with initials not his mother's. Inside, a tiny portrait of a man he didn't recognize, stern-faced, with eyes like his own. A note fluttered out. "Your father didn't leave us. He chose a path that kept him away, but he watched over you from afar. This was his. Forgive him as I have." The room spun. Ethan had grown up believing his father abandoned them young, a ghost story his mother rarely touched. SEAL life had taught him to bury questions, to mission forward no matter the voids. But this? His ex, Laura, had walked away, citing his walls, his silences. Now, staring at the locket, those walls cracked. Rex nudged his hand, sensing the shift. Ethan pocketed the locket, stacking the letters carefully. Outside, the wind rattled the shutters, but inside tension coiled tighter. What else had she hidden? He stood, journal clutched tight, and moved to the kitchen, her domain where scents of apple pie once lingered. Drawers yielded nothing but faded recipes, but the pantry door stuck oddly. Prying it open, he found a false panel at the back. Another cache, dog tags, not his father's, weight engraved with a name, Marcus Hale. A service record clipped to them, classified stamps faded. His father hadn't just left, he'd vanished into shadows, perhaps covert work that mirrored Ethan's own path. The realization hit like suppressed fire, generations of silence. Ethan sank to the floor, Rex curling against him. Tears welled, hot and unbidden, as fragments of a life rewritten pressed in. But footsteps? No. A branch scraping glass. Paranoia from old ops, or something more. He wiped his face, resolve hardening. The house wasn't done revealing secrets. Not yet. Jack gripped the flashlight tighter, its beam slicing through the attic's dust-choked air. Shadows twisted like old enemies on the walls, pulling at memories he thought he'd buried. Rex paced below, nails clicking on the stairs, a low growl rumbling up, insistent. The dog never growled without cause. Jack descended, each step deliberate, muscles coiling from years of instinct. Something had shifted in the house. Not wind, not imagination. He found Rex at the kitchen threshold, staring into the pantry. The door hung ajar, a sliver of darkness spilling out. Jack nudged it open. Empty shelves, jars of preserves long forgotten, labels peeling like faded tattoos. But Rex pawed at the floorboards, frantic. One plank lifted with a splintered creak, loose, hidden. Beneath lay a metal box, rusted edges catching the light. Locked. Jack's pulse quickened. His mother's things, or something she'd kept from him. The key ring from upstairs yielded nothing. He pried the lid with his knife, metal groaning in protest. Inside, letters, bundled tight with twine, envelopes yellowed, postmarks from 2 decades back. His name on the first one. Jack Harlan, sender, unknown. He slit it open, handwriting sharp, feminine. "Dear Jack," it began. "If you're reading this, I've waited too long." Rex whined, pressing against his leg. Jack read on, words blurring then sharpening. She wrote of his father, not the man Jack remembered, the drunk who vanished when he was 10. No, a different story. A Navy recruiter who'd promised her the world, then shipped out and never returned. Jack's enlistment. She'd encouraged it, hoping he'd de-answers overseas, but the letters piled up. Dozens. From bases Jack had never heard of. Coordinates scribbled in margins. Places tied to ops he'd run himself. A photograph slipped out. Grainy, black and white. His mother, younger, arm around a man in dress blues. The face, impossible. Jack's own reflection stared back, aged prematurely by salt and sand. His father, alive. The timeline didn't match. Jack's breath caught. These weren't love letters. Warnings. She knew about the missions, the cover-ups. "They'll come for you," one read. "The shadows follow SEALs home." Footsteps. Real this time. Outside, crunching gravel. Rex bolted to the window, hackles raised. Jack doused the light, heart slamming like a breaching charge. Through the curtain gap, headlights sweeping the driveway. A black SUV unmarked. 2 figures stepping out, moving tactical, low and silent. Not locals, feds, or ghosts from his past ops. He swept the letters into the box, shoved it under the sink. No time. Back door, Rex at his heel. They slipped into the night, circling the house's blind side. The intruders entered through the front, door splintering without a knock. Flashlights probed rooms Jack had just cleared. Voices clipped. "Perimeter secure, he's here." Jack crouched in the brush, calculating angles. 20 yards to the tree line. Cover sparse. Rex trembled but stayed silent, trained better than most recruits. Who were they? The heartbreak that drove him here, his fiancée walking out after his discharge, felt trivial now. PTSD diagnosis, they called it. Lies, all of it. These letters proved his mother had known the truth. His father's disappearance, not abandonment, erased. A beam swept close. Jack pulled Rex down. Branches snapped underfoot, echoing the earlier scrape. Paranoia validated. He crawled forward, inch by inch. The SUV keys glinted in the driver's door, left careless. Opportunity. He sprinted low, yanked them free. Engine roared to life 50 yards out, but he was already peeling away, Rex leaping into the passenger seat. Tires spun dirt as he hit the county road. Rear view, headlights pursuing. No sirens, no lights, private muscle. Jack floored it, the old truck groaning under the strain. Letters burned in his mind. His mother hadn't parted gently. She'd left a map. To what? Revenge? Redemption? Dawn broke as he ditched the truck in a ravine off Highway 17, South Carolina, backroads his mother once called home. Charleston outskirts, the house a relic from her nursing days at the Naval Hospital. Rex panted beside him, loyal shadow. They hiked inland, toward the Francis Marion forest. Cover he knew from boyhood hunts. Phone dead, no contacts. Just the box, tucked in his pack. He spread the letters on a fallen log, sunlight filtering through pines. Patterns emerged, dates aligned with his deployments. His father's last known post, a black site in the Pacific. They made him vanish, she wrote, to protect the program. Jack's ops had brushed the same shadows. Extractions gone dark. Assets who never checked in. Had he been chasing his own bloodline? Rex nosed a Al envelope sealed with wax, intact. Jack broke it. Inside, a key, small, brass, and coordinates. 32.77667 degrees N, 79.931 W, Charleston Harbor. His mother's last note, bury it deep, son, or they'll bury you. Tension coiled anew. The SUV would track him eventually, but this, a lead. He memorized the numbers, burned the papers one by one, flames hissing secrets into ash. Rex watched, ears perked. They moved at dusk, blending with fishermen heading to the docks. Salt air hit like memory. Jack's heartbreak, layered now, not just lost love, a lifetime of half-truths. Docks hummed with early traffic, crates stacked high, gulls wheeling overhead. He slipped aboard a trawler posing as crew, seal deception's second nature. Captain barely glanced. Engine thrummed seaward. Harbor depths called. He donned a tank from the hold, weighted belt cinched tight. Rex stayed topside, hidden in bait crates. Water closed cold, pressure building. He followed GPS on a borrowed watch, diving steady, lungs disciplined. Seabed emerged, sand rippled by currents. There, a marker buoy chained to a chest. His mother's work? Or his father's? The brass key turned slick but sure. Lid lifted. Inside, documents. Sealed files stamped classified. Names Jack recognized, commanders from his unit, and photos. His father, alive in recent years, brig teams, not dead, recruited deeper, Black Ops elite. A letter addressed to Jack. Son, the cycle ends with you, destroy it all. Tears stung saltwater eyes, not grief for loss, rage at deception. His mother had guarded this, waited for him to return unbroken, but he was cracked, discharged, alone. The truth? His father lived, pulling strings from shadows. The SUV crew. Enforcers, silencing loose ends. He surfaced, chest heaving, trawler idled, but alarms blared distant. Coast Guard choppers inbound. Betrayal tracked him here. Rex barked frantic from the deck. Jack hauled aboard, files clutched. No escape by sea. They ran, docks to alleys, Charleston streets a maze. Night fell heavy. Safe house, none left. He ducked into an abandoned warehouse by the Ashley River, Rex guarding the door. Files spread under moonlight, evidence of ops rewritten. Assets vanished like his father. Jack's own service. Pawn in a larger game. A shadow moved outside. Footsteps. Multiple. Rex growled low. Jack chambered around from his sidearm. Always carried. Door rattled. Breach imminent. If this story's gripping you like it did me writing it, hit that subscribe button, like share with a friend, and drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Let's see those locations flood in. They kicked in. 3 men geared black, silencers glinting. Jack fired first, precise. One dropped, clutching his side. The others scattered for cover. Crates exploded in return fire. Rex lunged, clamping jaws on an ankle, screams echoing. Jack flanked, disarming the second with a brutal takedown. Neck snapped clean. The leader bolted, radio crackling. Target engaged. Extract. No extraction. Jack pursued into the night, Rex trailing, bloodied but fierce. Alleys twisted. Leader cornered at the riverbank. It's over, Harlan, the man spat. Your old man's orders. Jack froze. Father. Alive. Orchestrating this. The files confirmed. Signatures matched. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. He zip-tied the man, dragged him back. Interrogation swift. Location. A compound upstate. He waits for you. Dawn patrol sirens wailed. Jack slipped away. Files memorized. Leader left bound. Rex limped loyal. The house secrets? Just the start. Heartbreak evolved. into Hunt. Back roads north, stolen sedan humming, pines blurred. His mother's gift, not tears of sorrow, tears of awakening. The dog nosed his hand, sensing shift. Jack's resolve steel now. No more shadows. Time to end the cycle. But engines growled behind, pursuit renewed. SUV convoy closing fast. Jack accelerated, curves biting tires, one shot out, cliff edge ahead. He veered sharp, gravel flying. They overshot, tumbling into ravine. Silence followed. He pulled over miles later, breath ragged. Rex licked his face. Files burned in a ditch fire. Truth internalized. Compound coordinates locked. Father awaited. Mother's wish. Confrontation. Yet doubt gnawed. Was it trap or closure? Tears came unbidden, not weakness. Clarity. The heartbroken seal reborn hunter. And subscribe now if you're on the edge of your seat. Comment your guess on what happens next. Like, share, and tell us your location. Jax gripped the rusted doorknob tighter, his knuckles whitening against the wood. The attic stairs creaked under his boots, each step echoing like a distant drum in the shadowed space above. Max, his loyal German shepherd, had bolted up here minutes ago, nose to the floor, whining with an urgency that pierced Jax's resolve. No turning back now. The forbidden door, Mother's private sanctuary, swung open with a groan. Dust motes danced in the thin beam from his flashlight. Boxes stacked like forgotten soldiers lined the walls, labeled in her neat script. Taxes 98, holiday ornaments. But Max ignored them, pawing insistently at a loose floorboard in the corner. Jax knelt, heart pounding in steady rhythm. Pry it up, see what the dog sensed. Clarity demanded it. The board lifted with a splintering snap. Beneath lay a metal lockbox, tarnished but intact. No key in sight. Jax's jaws traced the seam, then wedged his knife along the edge. It gave way reluctantly. Inside, faded photographs, yellowed letters tied with twine, and a small velvet pouch. Max pressed close, tail thumping softly, eyes fixed on his master. First, the photos. Jax's breath caught. Him as a boy, gap-toothed grin on the porch swing, but others unfamiliar faces. A woman with his same sharp jawline laughing in a park, and a man, stern-eyed, in an old military uniform. Not Dad, someone else. He flipped to the back, scribbled note. Your uncle, Elias, the brother I never spoke of. Letters next. Her handwriting, familiar as bedtime stories. He untied the bundle, unfolding the top one dated decades ago. Dear Elias, the boy asks about you again. I tell him you're traveling for work. How long can this go on? Jax needs family, not shadows. Jax's pulse quickened. More pages spilled out, chronicling a rift. Uncle Elias, Mother's brother, had vanished after a falling out with their father. Accusations of betrayal, money gone missing from the family business. Mother had shielded Jax from it all, raising him alone after Dad walked out. But these words painted a different picture. Elias wasn't the villain. He'd left to protect them. From what? Deeper in, a letter from Elias to her, postmarked years later from overseas. Sis, I followed your boy's path, joined up like he might one day, saw things that harden a man. But I carry the regret of leaving you both. Enclosed is what I saved. Use it for him when the time's right. Tell Jax I'm proud. No more hiding. Jax's hands trembled. The pouch. He tipped it open. Gold coins tumbled out, rare heirloom pieces from their grandfather's collection. Not stolen, saved. Elias had pawned nothing. He'd invested, multiplied it quietly through his service years, sending portions home in secret, enough to change lives. But Mother never touched it. Waited. Why? Another letter, her Al-1, unished. Jax, my son, if you do this, know I kept silent for love. Your heart carries wounds from the sea, from the woman who left. I saw it in your eyes last visit. This isn't pity money, it's roots. Elias watched over us from afar. He passed protecting others like you'll always do. Take it, build, not for wealth but for the family we almost lost. Tears welled, hot and unbidden. Not sorrow's flood, but release, a dam cracking after years of stoic pressure. Jax had returned here shattered. His marriage dissolved in silence after deployment stole too much time. The SEAL life had forged him unbreakable, or so he thought. But Mother's house whispered truths. He wasn't alone in the fractures. Max nudged his arm, licking salt from his cheek. Jax pulled the dog close, burying his face in fur that smelled of earth and loyalty. The coins gleamed faintly. Not a fortune to squander, but seed for something real. A cabin in the woods, perhaps. Training ground for veterans like him. Men rebuilding quietly, no fanfare, personal, hard-earned. He stood, pocketing the pouch, stacking letters carefully. Downstairs the house felt lighter, shadows retreating as dawn filtered through curtains. Jax paused at her photo on the mantel, smiling, secrets kept for his sake. "Thanks, Mom," he murmured. "For the hunt." Outside, Max bounded ahead, barking at birds scattering from the oaks. Jax locked the door one last time, but not forever. The property stayed his now, anchor, not chain. He loaded the truck, engine rumbling to life. Road ahead curved toward possibilities he'd ignored too long. Months blurred. Jax poured the coin's value into that cabin, high in the Appalachians. No signs, no crowds, just space for guys like him. Ex-service, hearts heavy with unspoken loads. They came one by one, referred by whispers. Built fires, shared silences, broken by axes splitting wood. Jax led, not as savior, but survivor. Taught tracking like Max had in the attic, scenting truths buried deep. One evening a new arrival stared at the stars. "How'd you start this?" he asked. Jax glanced at Max, graying but vigilant by the fire. "A dog and a box. Showed me family's not blood alone, it's choices." The man nodded, tension easing from his frame. Jax felt it too, the old heartbreak, transmuted. Not erased, but forged into strength. Mother's gift, Elias's shadow legacy. He was whole, not despite the tears, but because of them. Years on, the cabin thrived on word alone. Jax married again, not in rush, but readiness. A quiet woman who understood silences. They adopted a stray pup, sibling to none, but family all the same. Max passed peacefully one autumn, buried under the oaks he'd chased birds from. Jack stood there often, hand on weathered stone, the SEAL reborn, not hunter of foes, but guardian of hidden lights. Mother's house sold, but its secrets carried forward. Closure wasn't an end. It was the next step, steady and sure. And if this tale gripped you like it did Jax's resolve, hit that subscribe button, share with a friend walking their own hidden path, and drop a comment, "Where are you watching from today?" More stories await those who stay till